A key turned in the lock with a soft, metallic click, a routine sound, familiar, innocuous. But what followed was anything but. Alexei Artemov just Artyom to everyone who knew him, stepped quietly into the apartment. The lights were off, but the low thrum of music pulsed faintly through the walls. Something mellow, something deceptive. He should have been at work another 2 hours. But the client meeting had ended early. No need to text, no need to call. He was coming home after all. He set his laptop bag down gently like it was carrying glass. Then he heard it, a soft, playful laugh, hers. His heartbeat slowed, not quickened, slowed. Focus. He moved without a word, his steps practiced and silent across the wooden floor, like a man who already knew what he was about to find. There in the living room, she sat, his wife, Christina, legs folded over the trainer's lap like they'd been doing it for years, her head tilted back, laughing at something he'd said. Maybe the punchline was already on himself. They wore workout gear, but neither looked like they'd exercised. A water bottle sat on the coffee table, untouched. Her sports bra was slightly off center. His hands were not. Artyom stood in the doorway, still watching. Christina saw him first. Her expression twisted through stages, confusion, shock, calculation, then panic. Artyom, she breathed out. You. I thought you were. The trainer froze like a dog caught in the trash. He pulled his hands away, but it was too late for that now. Artyom said nothing, not a word. He just stared. A flicker of something colder than fury passed through his eyes, and then he turned, walked past them without urgency, disappearing into the hallway. The bedroom door clicked shut. The silence afterward was worse than yelling, worse than accusations. Christina burst into motion, rushing after him. Her voice trembled, pleading behind the door. Please, please, baby, don't say anything. It's not what it looked like. My mom can't know. She thinks I'm perfect. Please. Artyom opened the door, his face unreadable, his voice low. Invite him to dinner tomorrow night. She blinked. He nodded slowly. Your parents, the whole family. Say I have a surprise. Artyom, please do it. His voice was barely louder than a whisper. And then the silence again, the kind that suffocates, the kind that promises something worse than yelling. He closed the door behind her. Christine stood in the hallway, shaking, heart racing. She had no idea what he was planning, but in that quiet, controlled voice, something had snapped. And she knew whatever was coming. It would not be private. The next morning began like any other. Eggs sizzling in the pan, coffee brewing in the corner, soft classical music playing in the background. Christina moved carefully around the kitchen, every motion laced with artificial calm. She smiled too much, laughed too loudly at nothing, checked her phone like her life depended on it. Artyom sat at the table, eating slowly, deliberately. He hadn't mentioned what happened the night before. He didn't storm out, didn't throw accusations, didn't cry. He just asked if she'd invited her parents for dinner that evening. Yeah, well done, he said quietly, not looking up from his plate. Then, wear something nice. You'll want to look your best. Christina nodded, but her throat was dry. Something about his tone, the way he didn't raise his voice, unsettled her more than if he had thrown plates across the room. After breakfast, Artyom left for errands. In truth, he'd taken the day off. The first stop was the electronics store. He picked out 2 small, high-resolution, motions-triggered cameras, the kind designed for baby monitors or discreet home security. Easy to install, hard to detect. He already knew exactly where they would go. By noon, he was back at the apartment. Christina had gone to get her nails done, or maybe to warn her trainer. He didn't care. She'd already given him all he needed: silence, guilt, panic. He entered the living room, walking past the velvet couch where her betrayal had played out. He opened the media console and slipped a micro camera between the books and candle holders. He knew the angle, the couch, the hallway, the door. Perfect. Next, the hallway mirror. A camera hidden behind the decorative frame, angled toward the entrance, every arrival, every exit, logged, captured. He checked the feeds on his phone. Both worked flawlessly, all audio, all video, synced in cloud bag. Now, the trap was set. That evening, the doorbell rang at 6:43 p.m. Christina's family entered with laughter and wine. Her mother wore pearls and an attitude of matriarchal pride. Her father was quieter, taking in the apartment with a slow gaze. Her younger brother hovered in the background, scrolling through his phone. Christina played her part to perfection. Kisses on cheeks, compliments about hair, questions about traffic. She wore a navy blue dress that hugged her figure modestly. Her makeup was impeccable. Her smile was paper thin. Artyom greeted them with his usual calm. He poured the wine. He asked about her mother's book club, her father's chess group, her brother's internship. They sat at the dining table. Candles flickered, cutlery clinked, conversation flowed. The scene was carefully curated. Warm, domestic, normal. Too normal. Christina kept glancing at Artyom, waiting for a signal, a change in tone, a comment, a look, a slip. But he gave her nothing until dessert. As the plates of cheesecake were passed around, Artyom rose from his chair and raised his glass. I'd like to make a toast, he said, to honesty. Everyone lifted their glasses. He smiled. Actually, before we toast, I want to share something with you. A video, something I put together. Christina's hand froze on her fork. Her mother beamed. Oh, a slideshow? Yes, Artyom replied, his voice smooth as silk. A highlight reel about progress. He picked up the remote, clicked play. The television came to life, and the mask began to crack. The screen flickered, and for a brief second, it was black. Christina's fingers twitched against the stem of her wine glass. Her mother adjusted her pearls. Her father looked toward the screen with idle curiosity. No one knew what was coming, except one person at the table. Then it began. A wide shot of the living room appeared. The very room they were sitting in now, only from a higher, slightly off-center angle. The coffee table, the couch, the door, a timestamp in the corner marked 2 days ago. Ugh. Christina's laugh echoed from the speakers, real, unfiltered. The room fell silent. There she was on screen, entering the apartment, gym bag over her shoulder, fallen behind her so-called trainer. He looked around like someone sneaking into a museum after dark. Artyom had edited the footage with care. Not too long, not too short, no dramatic music, no labels, just raw, uncut truth. The man placed his hands on Christina's waist. She smiled. They kissed. On screen, her sports bra came halfway off before she pulled him toward the couch. Off screen, at the table, her mother gasped, so loud it shattered the stillness like glass. No, she whispered, one trembling hand rising to her lips. No, this can't be. Christina? Christina's face had gone corpse white. She stared at the television as if willing it to turn off. It didn't. Artyom sipped his wine. On screen, the footage cut to a different day. Same scene, same betrayal. Slight variation, different leggings, different position on the couch. He'd made sure the evidence wasn't isolated. It was patterned. Her father set down his fork slowly, deliberately. The clatter of metal on ceramic echoed like a gunshot. This is a joke, Christina muttered, finally finding her voice. It was hoarse, brittle. This is a joke, Artyom. Turn it off. Turn it off now. But the footage continued. Now it was audio. The unmistakable moaning, the unmistakable words. God, I miss this, her voice said from the TV, breathless. I wish I could stay here all night. The sound of a belt unbuckling. Christina stood up so fast her chair scraped against the tile. Stop it, Artyom. Deep look at her. Sit down. Are you insane? This is my family. This is humiliation. He turned his eyes toward her, cool and measured. No, Christina. This is truth. Her mother looked between the two of them as if seeing both for the first time. Is this real? She asked, voice trembling. Every second, Artyom answered. You always said you believe in transparency, so here we are. Christina's brother let out a low whistle. Holy watch your mouth, her father snapped. The first real thing he'd said all evening. But his voice wasn't angry. It was disappointed. Deeply, irrevocably disappointed. Then came the final clip. A tight frame, Christina standing in the hallway, whispering into her phone. He doesn't suspect a thing, I swear. He's so busy trying to be perfect for my parents. Honestly, I think he's too soft to ever confront me. Cut to black. Artyom stood up slowly. Dinner is served. No one moved. Then the unexpected. Christina's mother, pale and shaking, turned her head toward her daughter with unfiltered rage. You disgusting girl, she hissed. You brought him into your home. Into his home. You lied to us, all of us, and you let us believe he was the problem? Christina opened her mouth, but no words came out. I raised you better than this, her mother added, eyes burning. Or at least I thought I did. Her father rose silently, folding his napkin with mechanical precision. I'll be outside, he said. His voice, calm as ever, carried the weight of a broken man. He didn't look back. The trainer, the one from the videos, chose that very moment to knock at the door. Christina's head snapped up, her eyes widened. Oh my God, she muttered, horrified. Artyom didn't even blink. He walked over to the door, opened it, and stepped aside. Hey man, the trainer said, grinning casually. I think I left my... He stopped. He saw the family, the TV. Christina's wide-ruined expression. Then he saw the frozen video on screen, himself, mid-thrust. Hey, I didn't know she was married, he said quickly, stepping back like the room itself had become radioactive. Yo, I didn't know, man. I swear, Christina screamed after him as he bolted, something incoherent, desperate. But he didn't stop. The door clicked shut again. Silence followed. Everyone's eyes were now on her. I made a mistake, she said, then louder. It was a mistake. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person. Her mother stood. No, Christina, it means you're a coward who lives behind a mask. Artyom picked up his wine glass. I think we're done here. And just like that, he walked out of the room, leaving Christina behind in the ruins of her image, her voice rising into pleading sobs. No one cared to answer. The door closed behind Artyom with a finality that rang louder than any slammed fist. No shouting, no demands, just the soft click of a man done speaking. Inside the apartment, the silence was unbearable. Christina stood in the center of the room, trembling, one manicured hand still clutching the back of her chair like it was the only thing keeping her upright. Her wine glass lay shattered on the floor, crimson drops soaking into the white rug. Her mother stared at her like she'd never seen her before. You humiliated us, she said slowly, deliberately, in front of your husband, in front of your father, in your own home. Christina shook her head, her voice catching. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. He was never meant to find out. You didn't just lie to him, her mother continued, her tone growing colder. You lied to all of us. You made us believe you had the perfect life. You made us believe he was lucky to have you. Christina's brother scoffed. Guess we were the idiots. Her face crumpled. I didn't plan for it to go that far. It started and I thought I could stop, but I couldn't. Her mother's voice sharpened. Do you think that makes it better? She turned to leave, grabbing her purse from the arm of the couch. I'm going with your father. He deserves a daughter who respects the values we raised her with. Clearly, we failed. Well, no, her mother snapped. You don't get to cry for sympathy when you threw everything away for a sweaty man who can't spell protein. And with that, she was gone. Christina stood alone in the center of the wreckage, empty wine glasses, flickering candles, the TV frozen on a frame that exposed every lie she'd carefully constructed. Her brother didn't even say goodbye. He just shook his head once and followed their mother out. The door slammed. The apartment felt bigger now, echoing. Hell yeah. Christina finally moved, slowly peeling off her heels and stepping barefoot onto the cold tile. She reached for the remote and turned the TV off, the silence that followed somehow even heavier than the audio had been. She walked to the mirror in the hallway and looked at herself. For the first time in a long time, she couldn't recognize the woman staring back. Gone was the filtered perfection from her social media posts. Gone was the polished charm she wore like armor. What stared back was someone raw, unprotected, and exposed. In the mirror, she saw what Artyom had seen all along, and it scared her. Across town, Artyom sat on a quiet park bench, his coat drawn tight around him, a cigarette burning slowly between his fingers. He wasn't a smoker, not really, but tonight demanded something that burned. His phone buzzed beside him on the bench. Christina, and he let it ring again and again. Each buzz was like a failed attempt to rewind time. He didn't bother muting it. He just let the silence win. He wasn't angry anymore. That part had passed. What remained was a strange, weightless clarity. For the first time in months, maybe years, he wasn't pretending anymore. Not to her. No, at the minute when he had reclaimed something tonight, not through revenge, through truth. And truth, he realized, didn't always feel triumphant. Sometimes it just left you standing alone in a park with a cigarette and no idea what comes next. A gust of wind rustled the trees. In the distance, the city lights blinked steadily, indifferent. He glanced at his phone one last time. Another message from her. Like, you didn't have to do this. You didn't have to destroy everything. No, he hadn't had to, but she had. Later that night, Christina sat on their shared bed, now hers alone, surrounded by the familiar scent of linen cologne in the past. She opened her laptop, typed a message. I messed up. I know I did, but can we talk, please? Sent. Then delete. She couldn't bring herself to hit it. Instead, she scrolled through photos, holidays, birthdays, weekends at the lake, all moments where Artyom had smiled for the camera while dying a little behind the eyes. She hadn't seen it then, but she saw it now. She crawled into the sheets, but they were too cold, too empty. She pressed her face into the pillow and cried until she had nothing left. The next morning, Artyom was gone. His things packed, his side of the closet empty, his cologne no longer in the bathroom. A single note on the kitchen counter. I told you I wanted a surprise. This was mine. The apartment had never felt so still. No hum of the espresso machine, no laptop left open on the kitchen island, no hoodie draped carelessly over the back of the couch, just silence, heavy and pressing like fog against the windows. Christina stood in the hallway, barefoot, holding the note Artyom had left. I told you I wanted a surprise. This was mine. Short, final. No warmth, no hatred, just distance. It was the handwriting that broke her. Neat, unchanged, familiar. The same script she used to find love letters in. Grocery lists with hearts doodled in the corners. Now it was a goodbye disguised as a mic drop. She wandered from room to room, each one emptier than the last. His tools were gone from the utility closet, his colognes, his books, the little charger he always forgot in the socket near the TV, all vanished. It was like a careful erasure, as if he had never existed here at all. Only the memory of him remained, like scent trapped in fabric. She collapsed onto the edge of the bed, their bed, her fingers dug into the comforter as if she could anchor herself there. But there was nothing to hold on to. As she opened her phone, no messages, no missed calls, new posts from him. His social media had gone dark, not deleted, just silent. She hovered over his contact, typed, you didn't have to ruin everything. I still love you. I deleted it or tried again. I never thought you'd really leave. Backspaced. Her thumbs trembled over the screen, and then she settled on something raw and unpolished. You won. You made your point. Please, can we talk? This time she hit send. It went through. Then nothing. No read receipt, no reply, no dots pulsing with a response. It's stillness. She waited 10 minutes, an hour. Half the day passed before it hit her. The silence wasn't temporary, it was permanent, the kind that doesn't break. The kind you have to live inside. Somewhere else in the city, Artyom stepped onto a new balcony. Not a fancy view, just rooftops and sunset and air that didn't carry old ghosts. He sipped his coffee, still strong and bitter the way he liked it. A soft jazz record played from his phone, a clean slate. He hadn't blocked Christina. He didn't need to. Letting her live with the truth was louder than any wall of silence. It rang in every unanswered message, every ignored call, every dinner table where she had to face questions with no lies left to offer. He didn't need revenge. He had peace. And that he learned was the rarest kind of justice. Weeks passed, and a month. The holidays came. Christina scrolled past photo after photo, friends at parties, couples exchanging gifts. Her inbox remained empty until one morning, a single notification lit up her screen. Artyom, read your message. That was it. No reply, just confirmation. She stared at it for minutes, waiting for something more. A typing bubble, a line, a word, anything. But the screen stayed still. She opened their old message thread. Years of laughter, travel plans, arguments, apologies, all leading up to nothing. The last words she would ever send him still hung at the bottom of the chat window. You won. She closed the app, opened Instagram, posted a black and white story, a photo of her hand gripping a wine glass captioned with, "Some ghosts don't haunt you. They just forget you existed." And somewhere, maybe he saw it, maybe he didn't. But even if he did, he didn't answer.